Welcome to Blackberry Ridge. We are going to be discussing a couple of topics today. The first one we're going to talk about is what to do if you don't have one of those fancy trellises. Fencing works great, and there are lots of things that can be used. I was out in the garden today, and I had some tomato plants that I was tying up. And I used the crochet cotton that I use when I'm knitting my dishcloths. So here I was tying up these, and I was thinking to myself, I've got to get the sugar snap peas in the ground. Here's the sugar snap peas. Got to get them in the ground. They're starting to look really wonderful, and they really need to get into the ground. What can I do? Well, I happened to look over at my thing of crochet knitting cotton, and I thought, well, in the old-timey days, they used to put string. Now, my favorite way of doing this, just to let you know, my favorite way to do this is to use fishing line. And I looked everywhere today for my fishing line, and I could not find it. It's here somewhere, but I'm not quite sure where. So I thought, what in the world could I use? So I used this, and all I did was just take and wrap it back and forth, come up a couple of inches, in between each of these strands here, pulled it tight in between because this is going to stretch a little bit, and then wrapped it around just like I do when I'm using my fishing line. So this is what we're going to be using for our trellis today. This bed is a 4x6. I thought about putting the fencing in that I use like on this bed, and decided against it because I have these lima beans, these bush lima beans, and they were the only ones that came up. The ants got the rest of my seed. I'm sure it was the ant got the rest of the seed because I started that seed directly in ground. So I just have these couple of plants that have come up, and I really didn't want to destroy or disturb them any more than I had to. So this worked perfectly. Okay, so let's get back to our sweet peas. These are sugar snap peas. And let's see if we can get the stick here. As you can see, these were planted on July the 27th. So today is August the 15th. So they're roughly a little over 2 weeks old in this. I'm just going to go ahead and stick this in the ground so we know what we've got going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. Okay, these were planted in the toilet paper rolls. And look at that beautiful root growth that's coming out of there. This is one very, very, very healthy plant. So what I'm going to do is across this trellis here is I'm going to go ahead and plant it. They can be planted about 3 inches apart. So, and this is, as you can see, these toilet paper rolls are probably about 3 or 4 inches long. So I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to make a trough here. That is at least, see how I measured with my hand how deep it is. So I need to have it at least that deep. If you don't have tape measures with you, you can measure it with your body. And then I'm just going to drop her in. Just like that. She's dropped in. So I just took her and I just dropped her in. Toilet paper roll and all. And now I'm going to show her where she can climb. There you go. Now she knows where she can climb. She's going to be very happy there. See, she's already caught hold right here. Okay, now we're going to take another plant, being careful not to disturb the top of it. See, really, really nice, healthy root growth in this toilet paper roll. This gave lots of room for this to be able to go deep. And drop her in the ground and show her where she can grow. Okay, then after I get them dropped in the ground, I'm just going to take and I'm just going to pat some dirt around them. I'll be back when we get the row.